You know what? Hold on. I believe this is a very reliable source. This guy said, I actually just flew Lane Kiffin's private jet from Oxford to Auburn. He asked, where's the hose at? I replied, don't act like you don't already know. We both laughed. He's on the way. Oh. College football. Well, first things first, let me do the real intro. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. You can't make this stuff up. We're now to the point in the season where you're going to have these teams competing for the college football playoff. And if you're not competing for the playoff, we now have teams like Auburn. They're already talking about next year and what's going to happen in the future. First thing is first, before I forget, I got to give it up to Auburn fans. I really do. Y'all have some balls of steel. Whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying, yo, Matt, what are you talking about? Auburn fans have balls of steel. Auburn fans are a different breed. They got to be the cockiest and the most arrogant fan base I've ever seen. The fact that Auburn fans have the nerve and the balls to talk down to Ole Miss when Auburn is one of the worst teams in the SEC, one of the biggest crap shows in the country, blows my mind. You can't make this stuff up. Auburn was 3-6 heading into a matchup with another 3-6 team. They beat them by a field goal, and they're acting like they won the Super Bowl. Although I think that's too much, that's just my humble opinion. I have the mentality of act like you've been there before, but I understand celebrating a win. But where it starts to go too far, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know how you're going to humble yourself, is you're trying to act like you're better than Ole Miss. Now, yes, I get it. If you're looking at the past 50 years, of course, Auburn is a better football program. But for the past couple of years, and this year especially, Ole Miss is a better program than Auburn. And even if you want to try to have a debate and say Auburn's better, well, I'm just going to offer you this. I just don't understand how Auburn fans are talking crap. Maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. All this stuff that these Auburn fans are doing, it doesn't sit right with me. And you really want to know what Auburn's kind of reminded me of? Nebraska. I see no difference in these Auburn fans than Nebraska fans. They're always talking about what they accomplished 10, 20, and 30 years ago. I'll let you do what you want with that information. Let me offer you a different perspective, and we got to move on to the main topic, the main encore of this video, Lane Kiffin. For Auburn fans, if I had to pick a word to describe them, I'd say cocky or arrogant. For Tennessee fans, I'd say obnoxious or crazy, toxic, whichever one of those three you want to use. And Alabama fans, the obvious one, I would say entitled and spoiled. Can Alabama fans be arrogant? Can they be toxic at times? Yes, but for the most part, you don't see Alabama fans bragging about a win because they're so used to it. Maybe when the dynasty was first starting, you would see it here and there, but you don't see it as much anymore. Because just like any other thing in this life, when you get used to something, it doesn't excite you anymore. You don't want to talk about it as much. I say that to say this, and this just goes to show you how different these programs are, and they're not even on the same planet. Ever since Alabama has lost to LSU, they've only lost 2 games this year. Alabama fans, they've been in hibernation. They're not saying a single word. Alabama fans don't even care they beat Ole Miss. They're not even talking. You can't see them saying anything anywhere. Bama fans know this season it's been a disappointment, and they're going to leave it at that. However, on the other hand, only a couple hundred miles down the road, you got Auburn, who just picked up their 4th win of the year. They're 4-6, and they're acting this way. You have Auburn fans gloating over a win against 3-7 Texas A&M. You have Auburn fans gloating and bragging that Auburn's a better program than Ole Miss. Just think of that major difference in these two programs, Alabama and Auburn. I did want to bring that up, but moving on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about the Lane train. He may be heading somewhere else. Who knows? I've been following this pretty close over the past couple of days. There are so many rumors going on about Lane Kiffin's going to Auburn. I believe, yeah, we've already made a video about this 3 or 4 weeks ago in which I told all of you that Lane Kiffin will not go to Auburn. I'm not going to say there's a 0% chance, but it also wouldn't make too much sense to me. I'll talk about that in just a second. A bunch of you are sending this to me and tagging it to me on Twitter and Instagram, and I really appreciate that because it lets me know you want to see a video on that topic. Per usual, I'm a fan of the people, and I'm going to give the people what they want. Before we jump into this, I'm going to clarify this is a rumor, this is speculation. So this isn't a done deal, but apparently, according to some people, it is. It is being stated and going around that Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin is expected to accept an under-the-table offer tomorrow to be the head coach of Auburn, effective as of November 27th. And in good old 2022, you can somehow, someway, I don't even know how all this works, you can track every single flight in America, or I think all over the world. I'm going to show you a screenshot right here that's been leaked leaked out. Apparently, this is Lane Kiffin's jet, private plane, whatever you want to call it, and he was flying to Auburn. Now, do I believe this? I don't know. It seems kind of fishy to me, but let's get a move on. This next screenshot I'm about to show you is some messages going back and forth between quote-unquote reliable sources. The first person said, "Too much going on in the locker room right now. Lane Kiffin is committed to Auburn on the $78 million deal." Someone replied, "Have you told Kiffin this yet? I'm sure he would like to know." And apparently under that, this guy knows a kid on the team. "You want to put money on it? I know for a fact. He met with his players yesterday. My friend's son plays there." I just think this is total BS. Trust me, I'm all here for the rumors. I think it'd be awesome for Lane Kiffin to go to Auburn. It'd give us a lot to talk about. But going off of what I've seen, what I've shown you in these past 2 or 3 minutes, I don't think any of this is true whatsoever. I think this is some Auburn fans that are trying to be hopeful. I think they're making up stuff, and that's all it is. I do want to address the last part talking about, "I know for a fact he met with the players yesterday. My friend's son plays there." Maybe your friend's son does play there. I don't know. But also, I do want to say this. This is common sense. If Lane Kiffin was going to go to Auburn, if he's already committed and he's met with the locker room, this information would be on ESPN. Everybody would be talking about it. You really think in 2022, about to be 2023, Lane Kiffin had a meeting with his players and said, "Hey guys, I'm taking a $78 million deal at Auburn, sorry," and nobody's going to talk about it? Come on, man. I don't just smell a lot of cap, a lot of lies going on. I'm just telling you straight up, this is a lie. I'm not even going to try to entertain it. And the sad part about this is you're going to have people that go on Twitter and Instagram and they're going to believe this crap. You know what? Hold on. I believe this is a very reliable source. This guy said, "I actually just flew Lane Kiffin's private jet from Oxford to Auburn. He asked, 'Where's the hose at?' I replied, 'Don't act like you don't already know.' We both laughed. He's on the way." I mean, seriously, that's about as believable as the first one. And when I say the first one, I'm talking about the first thing we just covered. Just because somebody had a screenshot of a jet or a private plane going to Auburn and saw some Facebook comments doesn't mean it's true. Don't tell Auburn fans that, though, because they believe they're above and they're beyond a team and program like Ole Miss, and they deserve to have a big-time head coach like Kiffin. How do I say this nicely? To all of my Auburn fans, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. You're not a poverty program like a Vanderbilt or South Carolina, but you're not a good one either. This Auburn program, as to where it stands, it's a piece of crap. There's good news and bad news to it. The bad news is, obviously, you're a piece of crap at this current moment, but the good news is you can return to your glory days. Trust me, it's going to take a lot, and I mean a lot of work, but you can get back to that point. A team like South Carolina or Vanderbilt, no. And I already know you're going to have some South Carolina fans talking about, "Well, Matt, why are we catching stray bullets? Why are we being brought into this? What do you mean we can't return to our glory days?" And blah, 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 blah. It doesn't make any sense, Matt. We're better than Auburn. How are you saying they can get back to being great one day? Well, my friend, it's rather simple. Auburn can recruit. South Carolina can't recruit. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, if you don't have the guys to compete, I don't care if you have Nick Saban run the show, you're not going to win games. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. This isn't the NFL where every single team is nearly even and you all got some of the best athletes in the world. It's not that way. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to make this video. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to speak on this topic just to engrave it in these Auburn fans' head. I said head, I meant to say heads. You get what I'm trying to say. You are not, in any shape or form, going to even be able to sniff Lane Kiffin. Number one, makes zero sense whatsoever why Kiffin would put in all that hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into Ole Miss to build them up as to where they're at to be one of the top dogs in the SEC just to leave it for a crap show. Number two, the only reason why you would leave an Ole Miss is to not play Alabama and play in the toughest division and conference every single year. And oh, guess what? Auburn's in the same conference and division. Makes no sense from that standpoint either. So going to Auburn, not going to make the schedule easier. You still got to play Alabama. And if you're going to play Alabama, you might as well have the talent that Ole Miss currently has because Auburn's not too much better. Number three, not too sure if many of you know this, but Lane Kiffin adores Nick Saban. He admires him probably a little too much. It's kind of weird. So Kiffin kind of waiting for that Alabama job to open up in about 10 to 15 years. So going to Auburn is not necessarily a good look. I also get this weird hunch that Saban has kind of started to like Kiffin and he may want him to take over the reins. At first, I think Saban looked at Kiffin as the weird cousin that came over for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but now he's starting to like that weird cousin. They're getting along. Number four, and this is arguably the biggest one. At Ole Miss, Kiffin can go 9-3, 8-4, 10-2 every single year, and they'll love to have them. Lane Kiffin could lose to Alabama the next 30 years and Ole Miss fans wouldn't even complain. It is what it is. But at Auburn, not so fast, my friend. If you're not beating Alabama at least 2 out of 5 times you play them, you're gone. Going 8-4, even 9-3 at Auburn, is not okay. Which to me, it should be okay because Auburn, you'll never be on the level of a Alabama or Georgia, but don't tell Auburn fans that. Auburn fans are some of the most delusional people as well. They just need to get it engraved into their brains. They're the little brother. They will never be on the level of an Alabama and Georgia. And I think most of them know that, but now it's starting to really get to them that Tennessee's even up there with them. The rumors are funny, and the sad part is a lot of people believe them, and a lot of people still think they got a chance to get them. But just to be in peace with yourself, you need to stop. You need to stop giving yourself false hope. That's one of the worst things ever. As to who's going to take over the job, I don't know. We'll talk about that in a different video. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But